The winter camping season is finally upon us, but let's be honest, who actually enjoys waking up to a campsite that's colder than a polar bear's mini fridge? Come check this out. Lately, everyone's raving about diesel heaters. They blast out heat and they keep you toasty warm. But here's the thing, I've held off on getting a CDH because diesel heaters require that you carry diesel fuel, of course, and they spew out toxic fumes during operation. And if you've watched Adventure Gear TV before, you know that I take safety seriously, and nobody wants to wake up dead and cozy at the campsite. Vevor sent this diesel heater for a review, and this bad boy claims to be the cheapest all-in-one CDH on the market. Now we all know that CDH stands for cheap diesel heater, but let's hope that it doesn't stand for something worse like constant disaster heater. Welcome back to Adventure Gear TV. I've been eyeing these budget-friendly diesel heaters for several years, but the idea of having what is essentially a small combustion engine in my small vehicle camper setup, well, let's just say it's given me a few sleepless nights. So today we're putting this Vevor heater to the test. Can it safely turn my tent into a cozy winter wonderland? Stick around because this thing is gonna get hot. Pun intended. And don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe for more epic gear reviews. Now let's start with feature number one, and that is that the Vevor CDH is budget friendly. Now keep in mind that Vevor is not exactly known for the best quality. They are known for the best budget friendly devices. And because of that, you could also be getting a device here that is half quality. So the bottom line for me when it comes to that balance is, do you want to pay essentially top dollar for a name brand diesel heater, or do you want to potentially be able to buy up to 10 of these at the same price? Let me know in the comments which you prefer, budget friendly or super high quality. Now feature number two is that this little diesel heater is a lightweight champion. It's easy to carry around and fits perfectly in most vehicles, making it ideal for camping and road trips. But don't let that size fool you. Now feature number three is that this heater packs a punch. It will heat up even the coldest spaces. Now let me ask you a quick question. Do you prefer a gentle breeze or a blast of heat? Because this heater has you covered with multiple settings to suit your needs. Now besides the ticking of the fuel pump, which can be annoying, there will be no more sleepless nights. This heater operates quietly, so you can enjoy a peaceful sleep without being disturbed. Next up, you can control this diesel heater from the comfort of your tent. Its Bluetooth connectivity is a little bit basic. However, it covers all of the functions of the heater from the lowest setting with the lowest fan to the highest setting. And so although this diesel heater sips fuel and electricity, you can use it to warm up your tent, get in your sleeping bag, shut it off, sleep for the night, and then before you get up in the morning, use it to reheat your tent so you don't have to ever get cold. Before we get to the next feature, let me get this thing plugged in. And just to note, this did come with your basic positive and negative ground cable. However, I have hooked it up to this XT60 adapter to make it perfect for my power station's high amperage DC output. And so this brings us to the heater's LCD display. You can keep an eye on the temperature and settings with this easy to read LCD display.
Start heating.
This Vevor diesel heater does have a few safety features. Number one is its flame out protection. So if you're running it like I have it running right now and the flame goes out, it will detect that the flame is out and shut itself off. The second feature is overheat protection. So if it begins to run at too high of an internal temperature, it will also shut itself off. This is perfect for making sure that the thing does not catch on fire when it's unattended. And in fact, I would never leave a diesel heater like this running unattended just because it's not worth the risk. The next feature is somewhat of a pro and a con of this design. Because it has a hose like this in the front, an exhaust in the back, as well as this intake tube, this thing does have a versatile use. You can put it pretty much anywhere you want. However, you have to make sure very carefully that your exhaust is going outside of whatever structure you're sleeping in, whether it's a tent, and that's even if you're sleeping in it, a tent, a small building, anything like that. The reason I said it's kind of a con is with this short hose, and this short exhaust pipe, unless you purchase some aftermarket accessories, you're limited to moving this thing about 1 or 2 feet away from your tent. And because safety is one of my top considerations, I picked up a new carbon monoxide detector. I've had the same one for about 5 years now, so I figured for about 20 bucks, that's worth the insurance. In addition to that, I bought an exhaust hose that is about 4 or 5 feet long. So I'm gonna install this one on the end of the muffler, and that'll allow me to extend my exhaust up to about 6 feet away from the diesel heater. And then the last thing I bought, because I really don't want the diesel heater close to me while I'm sleeping, is this giant 16-foot duct tube. So I'll be able to put this on the end of the heater and then run. It's just so long. That's a huge, huge hose. I'll be able to run that diesel heater several feet away from where I'm sleeping. And the thing that bothers me the most about the diesel heater is the exhaust pipe is on the bottom of the heater. And so as you can see here, I just burnt my table with that heater sitting on here. So be very careful where you install this heater. And in fact, I've got a few feet, 4 little feet that I'm gonna install on it to raise it about 1 inch or 2 off the ground, because that exhaust pipe is hanging right under the bottom of it and essentially is only about 1/8 of an inch away from the surface when it's sitting as it is right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut off this heater. That way it can cool down and I can install those feet. When you power the heater down, make sure you hold that power button for a few seconds on the Bluetooth app. In addition to that, let it stay plugged in, let it run through its cool down sequence, because if you don't let it run through its cool down sequence, it will start to soot up inside of the diesel heater. And if you do that enough, you'll cause problems where you have to take it apart and clean it out on the inside. I've got these 4 tiny nylon feet that I want to put on the bottom of the heater. And one thing I want to iterate, and I don't think I can stress enough, is anything that's under that heater, the way it sits right now, will catch on fire. And so this brings me to the cons of the diesel heater. So with those 4 nylon feet in place, I've got at least about that much of a gap. So maybe about 1 inch or 1.5 inches. I'm gonna run this, I'm gonna test run this later on its max setting over a piece of wood just to check and see if that is a sufficient amount of space. So 2 quick cons that I wanna state right off the bat are, first of all, this exhaust hose, I really wish from the factory that it was at least 6 feet long. That way you can just run it wherever you need it to go. And then this heater outlet tube is also very short. So like I said earlier, that limits the amount of space that you have between this heater and any tent that you're gonna use it in, unless you buy some aftermarket parts like I did. The next thing that I really don't like is this black hose right here. It's semi-solid, but it's also very fragile. And since this has been sitting in my garage for the last few weeks, people have been stepping on it and I've been reshaping it back to its circle. But I feel like now that I've got it out of the way, it's not gonna be a huge problem, but I wish this was either more sturdy like the exhaust tube, or something a little more pliable that if it did get damaged or dented, it would automatically reshape itself back to a circle. I hope that last con made sense, because something a little more pliable could take the quality of this device much higher. There are a couple of significant pros to running a diesel heater. First of all, it only uses about 9 watts on that 3rd level that I was using it on. For me, that's super efficient relative to something like an electric heating element that some folks will try to use in their vehicle campers. Those things will pull anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 watts, and you simply will never have enough power to run them. Another significant pro of this diesel heater is it truly sips diesel fuel. It pulls anywhere from about 6 ounces at its lowest setting per hour to about 16 ounces per hour. And at that rate, you can run this heater for about 20 hours on its lowest setting with a gallon of diesel fuel. So there you have it. This is the Vevor diesel heater, a budget-friendly, powerful, and surprisingly versatile heating solution for your camping adventures. But remember, while this heater provides a lot of value, safety should always come first. So do your research, follow safety guidelines, and always prioritize your well-being. Now I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Have you tried a diesel heater before? What are your experiences? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more adventures and outdoor gear reviews. Until next time, stay safe, stay warm, and happy camping.